Hey there everybody, welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Rama, and in today's video, I am going to be breaking into 5 purchases you need to make if you plan on playing in public lobbies for Grand Theft Auto Online. I should also mention that these are great vehicles in general, so if you're not planning on playing in a public lobby, these are still really good options that I would always recommend to purchase at some point in GTA, but because Rockstar in the recent patch of the game has added Battle Eye anti-cheat, which has severely reduced the number of modders in-game, I thought it would be very important to bring up vehicles that are great to use in public sessions if you never want to die, and that will help you complete missions way faster. So without further ado, let's get right into the first vehicle I want to break into, and that is the Duke O Death. The Duke O Death is great because it doesn't matter what level you are, you have access to it. Simply go to your phone, scroll to Warstock, and sort by price until you are on the cheapest vehicles. Oops, that's most expensive. But as we can see looking at the cheapest vehicles, the Duke O Death is free. And because of that, this is an absolutely incredible purchase. The Duke O Death features pretty good frontal protection against bullets because all of that metal actually acts as armor. But that's not the most important part. It's the fact that this can survive upwards of 6 homing missiles before being blown up once fully upgraded. And even stock, it can survive 3 homing missiles. That is really good, and it means that even as a level 1, you have the ability to get a vehicle with bulletproof tires and missile resistance, allowing you to complete sale missions faster and do any sort of job you need to in a public lobby with some level of protection. And that is why the Duke O Death is making it into today's video. It really is just a great choice. And honestly, in terms of armor, in terms of survivability and maneuverability, this is one of the best vehicles in the game. It doesn't really have many limitations, because some of the other vehicles we'll be talking about you aren't able to use in missions. This one you are. So indeed, the Duke O Death is the first one. That brings us to the Buffalo STX, which is one of my favorite Amani Tech vehicles in the game. Now there are a lot of great Amani Tech purchases out there. You can get the Dubachi Champion, you can get the Buffalo EVX, you can get the Ocelot Virtue for free if you participate in the Los Santos Drug Wars DLC missions. There's a lot of great choices. But for today's video, we're going to be talking about the Buffalo STX for a couple reasons. First of all, it's one of the cheaper Amani Tech vehicles out there. I think it's sitting at around 1.6 million. That's actually fairly inexpensive, especially when you realize that it has semi-bulletproof glass. This is great, especially if you're planning on playing in a public lobby, because any player that tries to shoot you is going to have to cut through this glass, and that's obviously going to take a lot more bullets than, well, you're going to have to really worry about. Not only does the glass on this vehicle have some survivability, but it also has Amani Tech upgrades, meaning that this car can survive 10 homing missiles. That's wild! 10 homing missiles, and it has a homing missile lock-on jammer, which means you can't even fire homing missiles at it. They're not going to lock onto the vehicle at all. So those 2 changes are huge for this vehicle, and it basically means you're driving a tank. I have never died in an Amani Tech vehicle in a public session. It hasn't happened once, and I don't think it will ever happen, because you just have so much survivability in this car that it's nearly impossible for somebody to kill you. Really, the only way that you're going to die in this vehicle is if somebody orbital cannon strikes you, but at that point, they were going to kill you either way. So the Buffalo STX, it's fast, reaching a top speed of 126. It can seat 4 people, meaning for missions or heists, it's incredibly useful. And when you pair that with the fact that it has all these armor upgrades, it's just an amazing car. Get your hands on the Buffalo STX. We arrive to one of 2 flying vehicles, the first one being the F-160 Raiju. The Raiju's great for a lot of reasons. First of all, it has offensive capabilities. If somebody tries messing with you, you have an explosive machine gun which will make quick work of anybody in front of you. The only real problem with this explosive machine gun is it doesn't do that much damage. I mean, yes, it will obliterate a car on the road like that one you can see we just destroyed there. However, the only thing you have to be careful about when it comes to the Raiju is armored vehicles. This does not do the best job of ripping apart armored vehicles, so that is something to keep in mind. but it also has homing missiles, and these will do a very good job at ripping apart armored vehicles, so not too much to worry about. The F-160 Raiju is also the fastest mode of transportation in the game, which is wild, flying over 200 plus miles per hour. It is crazy fast. And then we have the final thing, which is stealth mode. You can see at the top of my screen it says all weapons are unavailable while vehicle is in stealth mode. You see, you can hide your weapons. We can see them on the bottom there, and if I press my D-pad button, it lowers the weapons, and now they don't exist. And that completely hides me to anybody on the map. So even if somebody did want to mess with me, including modders, I'm no longer visible on the map. They don't know where I am. They're not going to mess with me. Because of this, it basically means the F-160 Raiju is one of the most useful tools in the game. Because you also have hover mode. I was going to say the Akula is better, but it really isn't. Now that the Raiju has hover mode, an explosive machine gun, and homing missiles, you can literally fly it wherever you need, and let's say there's a mission right here, well boom, now I've landed my Raiju, and I can go do this mission. Oops, I don't know why the game did that, but point being, the Raiju is just a super useful tool. The only problem is that it's very expensive, so this is going to be for people that have a lot of money to spend. If we make our way over to the phone, we go to Warstock, and we sort by price, you're going to see it is a ridiculous 5.1 million. It's almost the same price as the Oppressor Mark II, so yeah, that is something you're gonna have to keep in mind, but it's definitely worth the price tag when you realize just how many capabilities it does have and how useful it is. I especially like it when I'm trying to support a friend doing a sale mission, because nobody can see me on the map, and then when somebody tries to blow up my friend's product, I instantly go into aggressive mode and I blow them up. So in general, the Raiju is just a great option to get your hands on. That brings us to another offensive vehicle, which is the TORDOR. This is truly an incredible vehicle in terms of just everything. First of all, it can survive multiple explosions, 6 to 7 homing missiles before being blown up, meaning that, yeah, you're going to be a pretty tough cookie to actually destroy. Not only that, you feature a rocket boost, meaning that even if somebody is trying to destroy you or mess with you, you have the ability to leave and skedaddle out of that situation before they really even have the opportunity to go up against you. And then the final thing is the homing missiles on this vehicle are ridiculously dangerous. You can spam them, first of all, and we can see I can spam them like crazy, just as fast as any other homing missile vehicle in the game. But what's even better is these are the DELUXO Ruiner 2000 homing missiles, which means that basically if you get a lock on anything, you're going to destroy it. Usually what I like to do is I'll try and wedge my vehicle up into the air, just like, you know, that. And then let's say there's a jet trying to destroy me. Well, now I have the ability to actually shoot at somebody in the air before I get back down onto the ground. And it basically means that you can be a freaking menace to society with your TORDOR. But yeah, that's a really easy way to just get your vehicle into the air. Ram into a street post or really anything that's going to launch your vehicle. But street posts are really the simplest way because it always launches your vehicle into the air, and then you have the ability to just shoot homing missiles at whoever is messing with you. In general, this is just not a vehicle to mess with because of that, and it has unlimited homing missiles, which is also really nice. It's also a 4-seater, which means if you want to, you can have a whole party inside of your car. But either way, the TORDOR, it really has everything going for it. It used to be able to be used in missions, but Rockstar removed that capability. But a lot of people think the missiles are no longer unlimited. They still are. You can spam these missiles as long as you want, which means being in a public lobby, this is one of the most useful tools that you will have at your disposal. And finally, we have the DELUXO. I was thinking about doing the Oppressor Mark II or the DELUXO, and I chose the DELUXO because I think that this vehicle has more use case scenarios. First of all, it has homing missiles, and these are homing missiles that are just like the TORDORs. They will home on anything immediately, and they're not going to miss. I have, in fact, done a video where I use my DELUXO to fight jets. For example, the F-160 Raiju was released, and everybody was saying how it's the best vehicle in the game for this and that, and I said, okay, well, let's try the Raiju versus the DELUXO. The Raiju lost every single duel, and this was, mind you not, a very good jet flyer. The problem with the Raiju is that it has pretty average homing missiles, and in the DELUXO, if you know how to use it properly, if you just turn it down or up right before the missiles are fired at you, they will miss every single time. And what that means is that the DELUXO is basically impossible to take out with average homing missiles, even the super accurate ones. Pair that with the fact that these homing missiles will instantly turn around and blow up whatever's trying to shoot at you. Yeah, it's pretty dangerous. In fact, even an F-160 Raiju flying at full speed cannot evade DELUXO homing missiles. Then there's the fact that it can hover. It makes it super useful that you can just hover in one spot, especially for missions or just blowing anything up in front of you. It is so incredibly useful. And, I mean, you can see just how maneuverable and fun it is. Plus, it's quick. A lot of people don't realize this, but the DELUXO is actually one of the fastest sports classics in the game, achieving a top speed of 127 miles per hour. That's really, really good. So it's fast, it has the ability to instantly fly whenever you want, and unlike the Oppressor Mark II, you can also instantly drop it out of the sky to wherever you need to go. It's really, really useful in so many different situations. And the final big advantage over the Oppressor is that it's half the price. So yeah, that's also a pretty big reason to why I'd recommend to get your hands on something like the DELUXO. The DELUXO really is just an underrated vehicle. Anybody that knows how useful the DELUXO is and how good it is at brawling will instantly stand up for me in the comments. And people that don't know how good it is will instantly say I should have picked something else. But as a player who does like this vehicle and a player who knows how to use it properly, trust me, if you know what you're doing with the DELUXO, it is a force to be reckoned with. At the end of the day, these are my choices for the top 5 vehicles that you should get your hands on in GTA if you want to survive public lobbies and really never get blown up. In terms of defense, just drive a Buffalo STX. You're never going to die. And in terms of offense, if you want to defend somebody or blow somebody up, then pull out the DELUXO, pull out the TORDOR, pull out the F-160 Raiju, and they're going to get the job done. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.